AWBrawler here for Strange and just playing the Splatoon Global Testfire. Now, of course, this is pre-recorded. I've already done the match from here, so no, I'm not that awesome that I can predict the future and can say stuff ahead of time. But just one thing I want to point out is that congratulations to everybody who joined in for the Global Testfire, because there's some pretty talented people already on this game and it just released. I mean, even on Twitter, you see people like Krista from Nintendo Minute saying, hey, these people are good already. But there is one thing I want to point out about the people that are playing the Global Testfire. I can tell that a lot of the people that were playing are used to playing more action-oriented shooter games like the Battlefields and the Call of Duties and the Quakes and whatever, because they would run out, leave the base unattended, and try to attack the other team. But keep in mind, Splatoon is kind of like the board game Go. It's not so much about attacking your opponent as much as it is about claiming territory. Making sure you have enough turf on your side to win. Claim territory. But I had people who would, like, I was on one of these matches. You will see one of the matches I had to switch to the ink roller because I don't really like the ink roller as much as I do the other weapons. But I realized somebody had to take up the role of being the inker for the team. Like, when Splatoon is completely out, I'm gonna play the role of every position that I say and explain what each one is. Like, the inker, as I call them, is the person who just lays down the paint for everybody to turn to squid mode and swim through the paint so that they can traverse the field a lot faster. You need to have an inker or two on your team. Of course, I have another video that it didn't record correctly, and my team did everything perfectly but didn't record correctly, so I can't use that one, unfortunately. And we just had a really good match, and we actually won that one. But what happens is, there's even some matches where I started off playing, and I had a partner with me the whole time. The whole time he was right alongside me. We stuck together, and as long as we stuck together, any inkling that came against us, either I'd smash him with my ink roller, or my partner would pop out the ink unannounced and blast him with his gun. You know, because that's the way you're supposed to do it. Keep the ground inked up. Yes, you have to attack your opponents, but that is not your priority. Your priority is to claim as much turf. You only get a few points for splattering them, because it splatters a little bit of ink. Just a little bit. So I had one partner who followed me the whole time when I was the turquoise team, and he helped me out a lot, yet we ended up losing because I saw what happened is, once I got splattered and he got splattered, we went two separate ways, and the other two teammates, I don't know what they were aiming for. I'm starting to understand why some people were complaining about the lack of voice chat, because if there was a voice chat, I probably could have screamed and say, what are you guys doing? Get back to the base! But I couldn't do that. So, like, they even had one match where my whole team rushed off and left me so far back. They rushed off and left me, did not try to do any teamwork, were not working in groups. Groups are important. They were not working in groups, and time I respawned, there were 3 orange inklings in front of me just lighting me up with ink, and I had to super jump away and just give up my base. You should never give up so much space that your base is just taken. If nothing else, you should cover your own base. Your base should never be covered in the other person's ink. I knew we were going to lose at that point, because we had to fight just to get them out of our base time we respawn. And since there's only really 2 respawn points, you're going to respawn at your base, and the enemy's going to respawn at their base. It's kind of unfair because they know where you're going to respawn. Now, I guess they could have put random respawns on the game, but you know, that would make it very awkward for the whole covering turf thing. So I understand why you respawn at your home and they respawn at their home base, because it makes sense and it's easier that way. But to let them all the way in, nah. So that's when I decided I have to be the inker. I have to be the person who lays down the ink. Now, the one we did win, I did play the role of the inker, but I had another person playing the role of the inker as well. So we had 2 people with the ink roller. And then you don't have to have the ink roller to be the inker. You can have the splat shooter or anything. But the ink roller is the most effective because it puts the most down on the ground at once. And what I was saying when I said they don't play defense, what does playing defense mean in Splatoon? In Splatoon, defense means not so much covering your friend's back and killing everyone who splats him. No. Defense in Splatoon means when the opponent puts down ink, you cover that ink back in your color quickly. That's playing defense. So the ink rollers so the inkers are going to be the defensive players on the team because they're going to cover up every ink spot in your territory. Like, you're going to get blown up in your territory sometimes. You're going to get splattered in your territory sometimes. You're going to get hit by the killer whale, by the grenades, or whatever kind of super weapon, the fountain of ink thing. I don't know how they do that one. I forget what weapon has it, but I had it used on me, and that was awesome. I lost, but that was awesome to see all that ink hit me. It was pretty cool. I love the game even when I lose. So defense. What defense? When I say that they're not playing defense yet, because they haven't learned the game just yet. Again, this is everybody's first time playing. They saw it on the Nintendo Direct, but everybody don't remember them saying focus on covering the ground, covering turf, claiming territory, ink, ink, ink. A lot of people don't remember them saying that, and it's obvious which ones don't remember them saying that. So they're not playing defense. So they're not, like, there were some matches where we should have won. One of these that's on this one is one that I should have won. If you can see the actual gamepad, unfortunately I don't really know how to record the gamepad itself. I don't have the proper equipment for that, so you can't see the field itself. But it was the one when I was on the green team and another one when I was on the turquoise team. We had the match. At that point, I was running circles around where I just splatted someone with the ink roller. I was running circles around that part, trying to claim that whole little square for my team. And by the time I looked back down at the gamepad, everything was in the opponent's color was purple. And I'm like, when did that happen? Who didn't stop them? Who was doing what? Somebody somewhere should have been paying attention to that. Now, I'm not saying, again, sometimes they get the upper hand on you, the other team is just better. Point blank, period. But I've seen opportunities. I'm looking down at the gamepad and I would see, like, my teammate's head moving around in places where there's other people's color and nowhere on the map. Because if you see the map, if you look at the map on the gamepad, you will see the colors change in real time. So I would see heads moving past the opponent's color, but it would not change to our color. So I'm like, is he not spraying ink? You should be spraying ink non-stop while you're moving, unless you're in squid form. You have to put down ink. Now, I'm not fussing. I'm just saying that this is what's going on right now. Now, it still was a fun experience. It still was one of the best hours of gameplay I've had on the Wii U, and it's made me a whole lot more excited to play the finished version of it. But I do think that once everyone gets the hang of it and they learn how to play defense, and I start making more videos explaining the role of the attacker, the inker, and the supporter. I'll probably switch the name of supporter because supporter just sounds too bland. But so I guess I'll call the attacker, I guess I'll call him the splatter, the inker, and then I guess the person who has the support move to make sure that they keep, once you set something in your ink, is that person's job to keep it in your ink color. That's what I'm calling the support guy. So I guess I'll find some other kind of Splatoon related name. Inker, splatter, and I guess he would be the, I don't know, the clear coater? The clear coat? That sounds kind of stupid. I don't know, but he has to keep the team color in yours. I'll think of some clever name by the time the game is out. But right now, everybody was trying to be a splatter. They're trying to splat the other person. I'm like, this is not Call of Duty. This is not Battlefield. This is not Quake. This is not 007. This is not any of that. This is Splatoon, where you have to. I know it gives up your position, but that's a risk you have to take. You have to shoot ink as the whole time you're going, unless the ground is already ink. And another thing that I noticed a lot of people were doing is when you go into squid form, I myself did it. When you go into squid form and you move, it leaves a ripple effect. You can follow where the person is. So I noticed a lot of people would go into squid form and just go straight in one direction. Zigzag some, confuse them a little bit. But I seen them would go in ink form and just stand completely still. And I guess some of them caught on early, like he didn't move. Because he went squid, but I didn't see any ripples. He's there. So he was shooting the same place where he ducked down and blow him up. Because again, I think a lot of people were not remembering, squid mode invisible is not invincible. It just means you're invisible. They can't see you, but they dang sure can splat you. So whether they can see you or not, their weapons can hurt you. So it's not a good idea if you're surrounded by 3 Inklings to just dip into the ink and stand still. No, you're gonna move faster than them. Even if they see where you're going, you're gonna move faster than them in squid form. So if you're surrounded by 3 and you dug into the ink, move! Get out of there! Now, there's not a voice chat, but there is an option where you can press up on the D-pad that says "come on." I guess you send a signal telling them to come to you. But apparently no one listens to that. Because there was one where I was wide open. There was an enemy's territory. One of the enemies was heading towards that base, and I saw him get splattered. I looked down at the map, and there was 2 in front of me, and I rolled over them with the ink roller. So there was only one more enemy that was still in play that wasn't being respawned. And I was hitting the button going, come on, come on, come on. Nobody rocket jumped over to where I was to help cover me. So I don't know why that was. So I looked down at the map and like, yeah, they're still alive, and we end up losing because of that. Because here's what I say the perfect strategy should be, and this is what I seen happening to us when we lost. Because again, I kept glancing down at every time I turned into squid mode, I'll glance down at the map real quick and then look back up and scream. And what I would see happening with the teams that would beat me is, like I said, they would go, I would look and see everything that they walked past would be turning their color. If they were purple, everywhere they walked past had a purple screen behind it. If they were green, everywhere they walked past they had a green screen behind it. If they were red, every place they walked past had a red screen. I don't think there is a red color now that I think about it. I guess they didn't want to do red because red would look like blood, but I don't think there's a red inkling. I'll find out on the finished game. I did not run across a red color. If anyone's seen red, let me know. If anyone's seen red or black or white, let me know. I know they're not going to have a white one because of stupid internet pictures gone wrong. So I'm not even going to say why they don't have white ink. Come on, you know why. You've seen the stupid pictures. You've seen it. This is the internet. But red, I think they don't have red because it'll look like blood. But whatever color that they had, they would leave everything behind him in their team's color. And then I would see them separate. Like one match, because, you know, I do work in an environment where sometimes I have to just pause the game. Well, I can't pause, just stop online and just answer a phone. So while I'm on the phone talking, I'm looking at my map and I'm like, wait, everything they went past turned their color. Now, 2 of them went this way, 2 of them went that way. They stayed in groups of 2 the whole time. Even, I guess one of them must have been in squid mode. Because again, you can't see your opponents on the map, but you can't see your own teammates. So what I saw was I just seen everything was turning one color. And so when I look up at the screen, when they were near one of my opponents, near one of my partners and near me, I would look up and I would see my partner kill one of them, and then another would just pop up out the ink out of nowhere and boom, blast them and keep going. And I'm like, wow, they traveled in packs of 2 the whole time. So even when you think you're taking on one, one of the most, it happened to me, one of the most unorthodox ways of doing it. He was spraying so much ink that I couldn't see the ripples from the other guy that was obviously swimming circles around me, because he was spraying ink and I splat him. In time I did that, I had a partner that was with me and I don't know where he went. He ran somewhere and I just seen another inkling, and I assumed it was my partner, and it was too late because by the time I realized it wasn't my partner, I realized, wait, this guy is orange, and I got blasted by him, splattered. So that's a good strategy. Stick with teams of 2, even if one of them is just gonna sit there and be the squid and just follow behind the guy who's being the inker, just inking the path for him. That's a great strategy. And the teams that just really dominated the heck out of me with like 69% of the turf, those were the ones that were doing that, because every time, it never failed. Every time I ran across one of theirs, I'll run across another. And that's probably why I had a lot of kills, because when I would splat one, I had to splat another, because they were both, it was always at least 2 at a time together. Whereas, I don't know how I kept getting matched up with teams where nobody wanted to work together. So we all were going our own separate ways, and then when I did follow a guy, he would turn around like he was trying to run from me. So I keep turning to the squid and following him, and he would just keep turning and running in the opposite direction as if he was trying to say, stop following me. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to follow somebody. That's the way the game is supposed to go. You always want to have at least 2 people. You don't want to leave anyone out in the open by themselves. The only exception would be if they have some kind of mega weapon in place, like the killer whale the bomb frenzy where they can sling all the bombs out. You have to have some kind of mega weapon in place for you to just leave them out there. And even then, it's not a good idea. But at least then it's understandable because they have something that can, they have something to defend themselves. Now again, this is not the complete, full version of the game. So when the game is fully out, I'm gonna equip some everything in my character. I'm gonna try to have him as fast as can be. I'm gonna have to add something that makes the ink last longer, because one thing I had to get used to is I would keep running out of ink. Because unlike other shooter games, if you want to call it, I still don't feel comfortable calling Splatoon a shooter. But unlike other shooter games, you don't see a number representing your ammo at the bottom of the screen. No, you see a little tank on the back of your character, and you gotta really pay attention. And your character goes transparent sometimes, so you can see what's around you, because it's third person. But you gotta really pay attention to how much ink is in the back of that little container on your back, because if not, you run out of ink so fast with the splat roller. With the ink roller. So what I'm gonna have to do with the next Global Testfire, which is, I would say later today, but by the time this is posted, it's already going to be done, and I'm already going to have been played that one and uploaded another video. So yeah, I know right now what I have to do, what I have to work on is using less ink or paying more attention to just how much ink it is that I'm using. So yeah, that's what I got from this first Global Testfire from Splatoon. And so far, like I said, congratulations to everybody that joined in, because everybody is way better right out the gate than I thought. Like I thought I was gonna run across a bunch of rookie noobs who didn't know what they were doing, which I did run across. They just were on my team, but I thought everyone was gonna be like that. So until next time, this is AWBrawler saying, be you, be true, be human. AWBrawler out.